Other side. All right. Hello, everybody. I see that we are all coming in, but good morning. You might see a new face here that you did not see yesterday at all, but we have the amazing Morgan, who will
Hello.
be leading the session. Guys, I am so excited for her to do this. I don't know if any of you have been on our YouTube. I know so many of you were going through videos yesterday. But Morgan did a great How I Travefy video. She has been in the industry. Like, how long, Morgan, have you been a travel advisor?
Going on 8.5, almost 9 years. So
See, she's been here. You've done that. You survived COVID with all of us. So
barely, yeah.
barely. But no, I see some folks in the chat already. Hello. Let us know where you are calling in from. I see Barbara, you are from Greece. Good morning. Good afternoon.
Afternoon, I think.
Lovely. South Carolina, Indiana, Denver, our Colorado neighbors here in Nebraska. Amazing, amazing. Texas. I hope you guys are all staying cool. That was a big topic yesterday, Morgan, for us all,
Oh,
is
okay.
realizing we're all in the same heat wave. Just that good old summer heat that's going on. Except I think someone from Canada mentioned that they were having some nice cooler weather, which is
Yeah.
lovely.
Our evenings here in Nebraska have been pretty nice. I am not an outdoors person when it's super hot, and it has been wonderful patio weather about 8 o'clock. So
Ooh, nice
daytime's been
little
hot,
drink on the
but
patio.
yeah, it's been fun watching the kids play in the backyard. It's a great time.
Oh, and fun fact, Morgan has two big Saint Bernards as well. So I'm
That
sure
is a
that they
part of
probably
the
like the
kids I
cooler
mentioned.
weather.
Yes, because they cannot really go outside for too long when it is, really hot.
Yes.
They are
Oh,
not meant to be in this hot weather.
I know we've got to go find some cooler weather where some of you guys are at, but it's so great seeing all of you. I see some familiar names. If you joined us for sessions yesterday, absolutely let us know. I see someone has already asked, do you guys do replays of any missed sessions? And you know what? That is a great intro into this next slide. We do. So we're recording all of these sessions. So if you missed any of them yesterday, Stephanie is working hard on getting those up on our YouTube. They might already be up on the YouTube channel. If not, they're going to be coming here very shortly. So just keep an eye out for that. We'll put a YouTube channel link in the chat below. Look, Stephanie's already doing that. But we also are going to be doing live Q&A at the end. So if you do have any questions, if this is your first time in Zoom, you should look on your screen and there should be a Q&A panel that you can click into. That's a great place to submit your questions just so we can see it and it doesn't get lost in the chat. Feel free to use the chat though. We have Murphy back here. We have Stephanie from our team. So keep this interactive. We love seeing it all. And then lastly, join our Facebook group. We have been seeing so many of you join, which is so exciting. Keep the conversation going. Join the Facebook group. It's called Travefy Official Group. If you look that up on your Facebook, we'll admit you in today and yeah, just have some fun. But this is going to be a fun rest of the day. We're wrapping up New Agent Bootcamp. It's a fun 2 day little event. But a few more housekeeping items that I'm just going to go through super, super speedy, just to give Morgan some more time, is we do have the new travel agent program. So we can't talk about New Agent Bootcamp without talking about this really exciting program. This is going to get you Travefy for that $25 a month versus the standard $39 a month billed annually. And that gets you all of the features plus a custom domain, custom email. You're going to get some really great training and support. We're going to help you set up everything. So take a look if you are someone who's just joined the industry. Actually, let me know in the chat who here is new to the industry, like maybe 12 months and under. We have been seeing a lot of you guys joining us. Hey, Katrina says me, Desiree, Angela, Kim. See, you guys, you need to take a look at this program. There are so many overhead costs when it comes to becoming an advisor. So, absolutely take a look at all of these benefits. Scott, you say you're 6 months in. Perfect. This is the program for you. Start your free trial though, no matter if you are newer, if you're someone who's been in the industry for a few years, maybe, I don't know if the advisor's still in here, if you've been in here 43 plus years. Start your free trial, travefy.com. It's 10 days. We're happy to extend it if necessary. But let's talk about the next session coming up, just so you know what the agenda is looking like for today. We have creating a five-star client experience in 2 hours after this one. So I believe that starts at 1. Someone correct me. I've been just living and breathing the new agent bootcamp schedule, so I might have it mixed up. But this is where we're going to walk through proposals and itineraries. But let's get into agenda. Enough housekeeping items. Let's talk about what Morgan is walking us through today. And like I said, this has been a session I have been really hyping up because I'm excited to hear from Morgan's perspective on how to walk through. And you hear the term CRM come up everywhere. And so CRM is your customer relationship management tools. This is where you are managing all of your client information. And so Morgan's going to walk through how she does it, going with forms. We'll talk about contacts, the email integration, invoices, commissions. We'll talk about some resources that are available to you. And like we said at the beginning, live Q&A. So if you have questions, put it in the chat, put it in the Q&A panel. But if you are not familiar with Travefy, if this is the first session that you are joining us with today, I want to make sure you have a good understanding of what this platform really all entails. Yes, we're focusing on CRM today. Yes, we're focusing on really that workflow when it comes to that. But Travefy really encapsulates all the pieces of your workflow to be that centerpiece of your day. So you don't have to feel like you have to buy multiple softwares. It doesn't feel like you have to have a million different tabs pulled up. That just leaves room for human error. I've been there, I've done that, spelling errors, etc. This is why Travefy has really been thoughtful about creating features that work really well alongside each other. And so if you are someone who needs to focus on your marketing, we have a great website and landing page builder. That's a whole session. That's our last session today, actually. And then, of course, all of this right here, CRM, forms, credit card authorization, invoices, commissions, we are covering that in this session. So get ready. Morgan's created some amazing handouts as well, so you can walk away feeling really prepared. But then at the end of this, we also have those itineraries and proposals along with the mobile apps to make sure that your client's impressed along the whole entire time that they're working with you. And so when it all works together, you're spending less time doing administrative work, more time selling, more time traveling, getting out of this heat that we're all really experiencing today. And so that is a little bit about Travefy. But do you know we have an amazing support team? There's so much to the platform. We understand if it's a lot to try and soak in. Murphy here, like I mentioned, is on the back. She's part of our great support team, but we can set up trainings with you if you want to have a colleague join you. If you want to do a team training, we can always do those. We do live webinars like this all the time. But let us know, reach out, email us, chat us in your account if you need anything at all. We want to make sure you are getting value out of the system that you are using to run your business. But all right, you've heard enough from me. I'm going to pass it over to Morgan to walk us through this workflow before we jump into Travefy and see how this all really works. So Morgan, take it away.
Perfect. Thank you. So excited to show you guys just a little bit from my personal experience, truly what my workflow looks like. Hopefully, you have heard the term workflow, and ideally, hopefully, you attended the session yesterday with Teak because there was so much amazing information on that session. And so, my goal is to really help you take what you learned yesterday and show you what that looks like in Travefy and how you can really use our tools to set yourself up for success. So, when we talk about workflow, we are truly talking about the steps from client inquiry all the way to getting paid. And you want to make sure you have steps set up for yourself, reminders, automations, all those types of things so that you don't drop anything along the way. While I am not that far into the industry, I totally understand what it's like to get started and not really know what a workflow is. And you kind of have to build it yourself. Every single agent's workflow is different. And so, what I've done here is I've outlined general steps. This is a very general overview when we talk about workflow. And it's up to you as an agent to decide what works in the different breakdown, the different steps for you to complete these tasks for each of your clients. So, looking at workflow, the first thing that's going to happen is you're going to receive an inquiry. This may be by phone, email, or one of our amazing forms. From there, I really encourage you to have a true on the phone, on Zoom consultation with a client. You can send additional forms, but really that one-on-one in-person style type of consultation, that is going to help you build that relationship and get that client to trust you. So I cannot like really say this enough, like have that phone call. Also, as you're a new agent, there are certain things that it's hard to understand if you're communicating just through email. One of the big things is when you have a client come to you and you're like, I want to go to an all-inclusive. I want to make sure there's good food and a good beach. Those mean drastically different things to different people. Good food to one may be Chili's, where it's Mahogany Steakhouse to the other. A good beach for one may be somewhere where they can take long walks and collect seashells. Another may be crystal clear waters on soft sand beach. So you really need to ask clarifying questions to understand what they truly need. And doing that during your consultation is so important. So from there, hopefully you're walking away from that consultation with all the information that you need in order to create a proposal for your client. Now, depending on the type of trip, this may look different for an all-inclusive or maybe a Disney quote. You're going to quote 2 or 3 different resorts that fit your client's preferences to give them choices. For an FIT, you may put together one general proposal and then you give that to them for feedback and you slowly change that to eventually fit exactly what they need. Every single client is going to be different. Every trip is going to be different. But don't get frustrated if you send out a proposal and clients come back and say, I don't like any of this. Them giving you that feedback instead of walking away is actually a really good sign. It's a way that you can take what they're asking and change it and then really provide a great proposal for them. So just because you don't hit the mark the very first time, you have a chance to do that a second or even third time. So don't get frustrated or discouraged if you're not sending out the perfect proposal the first time. No one does. Even years into it, it's never exactly what the client may need right from the get-go. Ideally, after that, client's going to approve that proposal, and then you can take the next steps. So next steps are going to be booking and depositing that trip. So this is really where Travefy can start working for you because we have all the forms you need in order to collect the information to start booking that trip. You can send out requests for client details to collect their passport information, credit card information. Then you can put that trip on hold for a client. I personally like to put a trip on hold, have the client approve the confirmation, make sure everything is correct, dates are correct, what we've booked as far as room type looks correct, their names, especially around flights. Have them sign off on that confirmation being accurate and then make the deposit. From there, highly recommend go track your commission. Even if you know that trip amount may change, go put it in your CRM or commission tracker. When I tell you there are millions of dollars out there of unclaimed commissions that agents have just left on the table, that is facts. Every single agency has thousands and thousands of dollars just sitting there waiting to pay agents, but they're not getting paid because agents did not put that commission into the agency commission tracker. You also can use Travefy's commission tracker as well. We make it so easy while you're building out an invoice to add those commissions so you have something to do checks and balances to make sure you are truly putting in and getting paid for everything that you're booking. From there, you're going to continue planning the trip. And what this looks like is an array of tasks. So you're going to double check that hotels have their reservations. You're going to add tours to whatever planning process you have. You're going to check in with your clients, send them information about the destination. All of this can be done within our workflow task lists and automations, which is really exciting because you can set this up to really have Travefy work for you and do a lot of this value added information to your client, all automated. So really cool things that you can do there. And then of course, final payment. You can use Travefy to collect that information too. Your client travels and you can communicate with them using the Travefy app, and then you get paid. We don't have anything to do with you getting paid, but again, you can mark it paid in the commission tracker if you're using that. So that's kind of the workflow. And now I'm going to jump into my system and I'm going to show you exactly like kind of how to use these tools. All right. Bonnie, can you confirm that you can see my screen?
Yes, I can see
All
it.
right. Perfect. All right. So, really, like I mentioned, some of the first thing that you want to do, and I apologize, I'm having a little mishap over here. There we go. Um, okay. So, first thing we're going to do is we are going to look at forms, and those are going to be in our library. So with forms, you can create any form that you could possibly need, all the way from an inquiry form to collecting passport information, even feedback post trip. So much you can do. In order to create a form, it's very easy. One, I don't want to forget to mention, we do have Marketplace. You can actually go get great templates from other advisors in the Travefy community right here in Marketplace and pull those into your own library. So whether it's the perfect form or it's almost perfect and you just need to tweak it a little bit, pull it out of Marketplace and you never have to start from scratch. We are going to start from one of our templates though for this form. We're going to go to new library item and select form. And we're just going to quickly build a new trip inquiry form. This is really great because it pulls in all the basics you need. I love an inquiry form because there's so many ways you can use this. You can use the URL, which we provide for every single form. You can use this and you can add it to your email signature. You can put it out on your socials, your link tree, whatever you're using to get your name out there, you can include this form so you have that open communication and ways for clients to reach out to you. Now, a couple of things I want to point out about the form. I'm not going to go through exactly how to build it, but a few features I want to make sure you know about that makes these really powerful. One, we have response limits. This is meant to help you manage groups. So you can actually create a form just for a group. Maybe you've booked 20 cabins on a cruise and you are trying to sell into that space. So you're going to use this cruise intake form to get interest of everybody. Now, I don't want to get 40 inquiries about this when I only have 20 rooms. So I may want to limit this to 20. Now, if I'm building a true profile form, maybe it's different. Maybe I have a travel leader and they are trying to get all their friends and family booked. I may actually go ahead and set this at 16. That way, once I hit that limit, the form cuts off. I can kind of reevaluate what's going on and make sure, do I still actually have 4 cabins left to sell? If I do, I can go ahead and go back into this form and just increase that. So really helps you manage those group bookings by having response limits. For general forms like this intake form, we don't need that. We want as many people as possible to fill this out, so we're not going to keep that selected. The next powerful thing on our forms is actually as you're building out your questions, you want to use smart fields. This is what actually connects your form answer into contacts. So you can see we have traveler's name, smart field is selected here, and then contact name is the field in contacts that this is going to go to. I like to say I use smart fields for permanent information, name, email, address, important dates, passport information. I don't use this for trip information. I don't necessarily need to keep permanently where they want to travel for this one trip. Um, their dates, those are eventually going to be, invalid. So questions like where would you like to travel? I'm just going to use the standard fields here, whatever makes the most sense based on the form. Because I just wanted to save on the form. I don't need it to save in the actual contact information. So there's that. And then just so you can see what it looks like, after a client has filled out the form, you're going to get an email notification saying, hey, someone's filled out a form. You're going to go into that form and you can actually see the responses. And here's where you can, with just one click, push this over into contacts. So here we have a form from Mary, and we can actually see Mary's already in our contacts. So we can simply assign this to Mary. And now that form is right over in her account. And then for this client, we don't have them in here. So we actually want to assign new contact. Going to ask us if we want to create a new contact for Mike, and we do. So we're going to create and assign. So that is as simple as it is to collect information and push it over into contacts. I'll pause for a second because I'm going to move over to contacts. Bonnie, are there any questions or anything that people are asking about forms I can answer before I move on to contacts?
No, this is all super helpful. I think one thing just to mention, because I saw someone asked it, I already missed your name, so apologies on that, but they asked, can you brand a form to yourself? And there are a few ways you
Yes.
can do that.
Yes, for sure. So one of the great things that you can do with any form is you can actually add your logo. And so you can go into, scroll all the way down here, add new, and you can add a text or image only. And so you can actually pull in your logo. I'm just going to pull in a quick photo because I don't have my logo on here. But we'll save that. And then you can actually add a welcome message like, thank you so much for entrusting me with your trip. Please fill out this form, whatever you want to put there. And then you can save it and you just drag this all the way to the top. And now your logo is going to be front and center when clients go to view this before they start filling out the form. So really easy to do there.
Perfect. Nope, that was great. I think we can continue moving along then.
Perfect. All right. So now we're going to go into contacts. So contacts is really where you're going to save and house all of that important information about your client. You can see here, we did create that new contact and you can really see how easy it is. All of that information I requested pulled right in here. There is no copying and pasting. So if you are using job forms, please stop. Start using Travefy forms because you are wasting so much time copying and pasting that information into any CRM. You can do all of this so quickly. If you do need to keep both information in Travefy and in another CRM for your agency, you can actually export things right from Travefy. Again, with just a few clicks, taking it out of Travefy, and you can import that into your other CRM. There are a few CRMs we have direct connections to, but Contacts isn't quite open yet, but we do make it really easy to import and export things so you can use your contacts anywhere that you need to. Now, one thing I want to mention is we have introduced email integration, and this was a really exciting release for us, and I'll show you where that is. And so within the contacts, of course, you have all that great contact information. You can create custom fields. So if you want to create things like medical needs, shoe size, maybe you sell a lot of ski vacations and you always need shoe sizes, you can build those questions right into your CRM and store that information. You can add tasks over here. So maybe you are starting to work with a new client and you just want to remind yourself, hey, I need to follow up with them in a week. You can go ahead and quickly add a task here to remind yourself to do that. Notes, any notes you want, whether it's trip specific, client specific, can be stored here. Any trip that they are on, those are going to appear here. Forms, you can see the form that Mary responded to. It automatically is right here. We can view the responses, some great information. If you are using our passport information, that automatically moves over into the docs. So when they upload that passport to their form, you are automatically getting a copy of that right in the docs and it's still on the form. And then lastly, you have email, which again, we were all very excited to have this released. If you currently have Gmail, Outlook, you can connect your email. Everyone else soon, very soon, we promise, gonna have it for you to be able to connect. But you can see all this great communication I have had with Mary. You can see I've sent her forms, I've sent her proposals, all of that. You can reply directly in here, which is so nice. So all of that is in here. And then I'm going to move over into the trips dashboard because for me, that's where the real organization takes place for my trips. So we are going to go into this cruise here, Oasis of the Seas, and let's really talk about what do we do next? So we got that inquiry. We have all of our forms. We created our inquiry form, we created our profile form, and let's say Mary inquired, she wants to go on this cruise, but now we actually need to book it. What do? We're going to send that profile form and request her information. You can see the profile form is right here. All you do to add this into the trip is go to add new and add form. And you can find whatever form you need to pull into the trip. I love sending things from the dashboard because when I click this, you can see you can see whether this has been submitted. Maybe she hadn't submitted it yet. Maybe she just looked at it. It'll show she viewed it. Maybe she hasn't looked at it at all and it's been a week and you need to resend it. You can see so much of what is going on and kind of get that pulse check of your trip right here in this dashboard. So I love having everything for this trip right here. So we've sent this off. We have her information. If we needed to send a different form, we could again grab a different form. But now let's just say she's approved this. We have her information. We put it on hold with Royal Caribbean, and now she approved the confirmation. And now I need to actually send her an invoice so I can get her credit card information. And so we're going to add new, and we're going to go right here to add an invoice, and we're going to create this invoice. I think I have pricing in here. I hope so. Yes, I did. I did it right. And so we're going to be able to quickly auto-populate what this pricing is. Now, it doesn't work for every single client to have pricing built into the itinerary. There's going to be occasions that doesn't make sense, whether it's an FIT and you just want to show them the overall number, or maybe you just forgot to put the pricing in as you built that proposal out. Totally fine. So if that happens, you can still come in here and you can edit, you can manually enter things. So I like to move this information over, and I like to put things like hotel. And this is just my personal preference. That's the nice thing is our invoice system allows you to name and change whatever you need it to be. Maybe I need to add in their flight. It wasn't in the proposal, but we talked about their flight and I need to add that in here. I like to put as much information as I can in here so it really covers me if they come back and they're like, oh, I didn't approve that. So I want to make sure that they know we booked them economy seat. I want to make sure they know we booked them a ocean view room. Whatever that may be, I like to put those details in, and then we can just put the price in for that. Maybe this was a family of 4. I could put maybe 4 and I could add 250 because overall it was $1,000. So you see here, we have that total amount. If I want them to know the breakdown, I keep this as is. If I only want them to see this total amount, I can actually say display total only. So really great functionality there. And now I can set up their payment plan. And really, this is an authorization schedule because we are not taking any funds from your client. They are simply approving you to go to the supplier and pay with this credit card information. So we want to use payment schedule because it's not all due up front. So I'll add a couple in here and we will say this is the deposit for the hotel and cruise. We will say the flight's going to be due on its own. So we'll put that in here and then we'll do final payment for cruise. Again, you get to put whatever you want in here, make it look however you need it to look based on the traveler. So we will say this is going to be due on Friday. We can make this due whenever based on when they want to purchase that flight, but we can say that'll be due then. And then go through and say final payment. And then we have to do the amounts. And now what's really important is this total has to equal whatever this is down here. So I'm going to do some very basic math so I don't have to overcalculate anything here. There we go. Yay, got it right on the first time. And so from there, we can start adding our terms and conditions. We can add attachments like the cruise confirmation, a detailed, if we booked the flight already, we could add that in here. Whatever the hotel confirmation, your terms and conditions could be added here. Really important to note, always, 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 when you are sending a credit card authorization, it's very important that you send the terms and conditions of both your company and the supplier's company. So a lot of that is going to be on those confirmations from the supplier. So by sending those, you are kind of in turn sending the terms and conditions, but also cancellation. So I typically would attach those here. And then, I may do just a little brief description, and say terms and conditions attached. We'll say deposits are non-refundable. And just make any of these notes. You want to be as clear as possible when you're building this so clients truly understand what's included, what's refundable, what's non-refundable, and what all those terms are. This truly helps protect you and your business. So if you ever do run into a case where a client tries to do a chargeback, you have the legal kind of documentation you need to help fight that and win. If you are not providing these things in the beginning, you most likely will not win that chargeback. So protect yourself, protect your business and the future of your business by making sure you include all of those things. So now we're going to actually send this over to the client. So we're going to send this over to Mary. What's really nice is if they're already in your contacts, they're going to populate right here. Makes it really easy to grab that. You can also start saving messages. And so I can quickly pull in that. It's going to be a really quick message because Mary and I talk all the time. She knows this is coming. So I have a really quick message and I'm going to send that off to her. She's going to get it. She's going to look at it and it's going to take her to a page that looks just like this. What I love about Invoices is it is a live URL. So it lives with the trip. Your clients are going to be able to see what they're approving, what their authorization schedule is, if they've authorized it, if it's paid, those types of things. They can come in here, they can schedule next payment. They can even do a custom amount. Maybe they get a bonus and they're like, hey, I want to put an extra $1,000 towards that trip. Okay, perfect. Go ahead, go into your invoice, use custom amount, put in $1,000 and I'll take care of it. Every time they approve a payment, you're going to get notified so that you know what to do and you can decide where to put that payment based on what's needed. So again, if there were attachments, those would all appear here. You can see those notes I added are right here. So just some really amazing functionality with these invoices. One thing I did not mention, I'm gonna go back, is, and I think it's because my screen is a little small. Let's see if I can make this a little bigger. Go. There it is. Okay. Sorry, my screen was a little small. You can actually, when you're building this out, very important is you can go ahead and add in your commissions. So I should have done, but you can also see now I've submitted this. I can still come in here, add, change, adjust, whatever I need to do with commissions. So I can simply come in here, Royal Caribbean, enter the confirmation number. It automatically, oh, this is for the hotel. Sorry. So we're just going to say, we booked this with Bets Online. And then the confirmation number, the hotel information is here. A lot of this is optional. So if you just want to quickly get it done, you can. And that way you can put in whatever your commission will be. You can add whatever your commission split is. So you can see your commission versus the agency commission. You can even include attachments. So if you want to reattach this hotel confirmation, you so can. And then we can go do in the same exact thing with Royal Caribbean. And this is all going to translate over into our commission spreadsheet. So you can see I just added this here. You can see I have other invoices. You can track whether you've been paid, overpaid. You can see some of these. I was underpaid this one. I was overpaid this one. But this is just a really great sheet where you can truly track if you've been paid, what you have expected to come in. So you can see how much you're expecting, what you've received, some really great information. And again, if you're doing this every time when you're building out an invoice for your client, you can take this information and double check to make sure you're entering it on your agency's CRM or commission tracking so that you know you're not going to miss anything that you should be getting paid. So there is that. The last thing I want to talk about, which I can pause again if there's any questions, Bonnie, before I go into tasking.
One question that came in from Mariel, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. She said, would the client view the commission info with that invoice?
No, so everything commission related is only available to you in your account. That's never going to be available publicly to any of your clients.
Perfect. I'll let you continue on then.
Perfect. So now we have Mary booked. So exciting. We know we're going to have a commission coming in the future. That is, especially if it's your first booking, it is always so exciting. But now you're like, what do I do? How do I, manage this trip? How do I keep this client excited for this trip? So we're going to go back into the trip. And this is where tasking really starts to work for you in this account. So we're going to go to tasks and automations. Now, you can, of course, build out individual manual automations to go out or tasks. Automations, those are going to be things that are going to automatically send on your behalf. You're going to set a date that these go out and you can set it and forget it. You don't have to worry about sending that out. I love to do this with final payment reminders. I will set up an automation with the link to the invoice and say, hey, um, just a reminder, your final payment is due in 10 days. Please use this link to go and approve that final payment by X date. Again, you do that right now at booking. You never have to worry about forgetting to remind your client that a final payment is due. But what this really gets, powerful for you is setting up full lists that already manage that for you so you know exactly what's going to happen. So we're going to pull in a full list, 26 items that we're going to pull in. And I was telling Bonnie earlier, like, I still feel like I could add like 10 or 15 things to this list because there's just so many little things that you can do for your clients or reminders that you can set for yourself so that you never forget anything for a booking. So I pulled in a full list. I'm going to be sharing this list with you guys. So no, you're going to get this and have access to it to use for you and your future cruises. You can also change it up and use this for other types of trips too. But so you can see here, we have these lists. All of these dates pulled in because I had this list set up based on X amount of days prior to departure. We have that where you can automatically set that stuff up. So when I pull this in, these are already passed. And that's because I have these set up on the list to be 365 days in advance because I need to do them basically at booking. And so I need to complete the deposit. We just did that. We're good. I need to add the reservation to the CRM or commission tracking. We did that in Travefy. We're going to pretend we did that in our agency commission tracker as well. That's done. So we can start clicking off things immediately, which if you are a type A personality, you understand the joy of being able to put a check mark next to a task. So it's very wonderful to be able to do that. And now I have these other things. So other ways that you can use this, you can see I have things set up as manual email versus automatic email message. For me, there are certain things I just want to send manually because I need to be able to modify it and really add a lot of detailed information around the trip. This particular example is in the very beginning, so clients know what to expect, important dates. I have this in here. So I can literally copy this information just from this reminder, and I can set up an email automation to go out, or I can just send a standard email, whatever you prefer. But this email is basically saying, hey, here's your confirmation. So I'm sending with the confirmation showing that their trip has been deposited. Countdown begins. Want to make sure you know about some really important information. So initial cruise deposits due. I'm going to tell them, hey, that's completed. And then I want to remind them about insurance. Maybe they purchased insurance with their cruise. I could just delete this out, or I could say completed or purchased. And then depending on what else we need to do, but these are some key things specifically around cruises I have built in. This email looks different for me for every single type of trip and things that I want to make sure we do. But I can put in all of these key dates and send off this email. So it is a custom email, but I am not rewriting this every single trip that I do for a client. These types of functionalities help save you so much time. And especially if you are just starting out, you are probably working another job. I'm not just starting out and I'm working at Travefy full time. So there are a lot of times I am doing this work late at night. And so being able to set this up and then now set up an email automation to go out is key because I could set this to go out tomorrow at 9 a.m. and my client won't know that I actually worked on this at 11 p.m. So some really cool things that you can do within this. Again, I have a reminder here to set up automated reminders and tasks. And really what this is my reminder is to go through each of these automatic messages and automations and make sure they're customized because there is some things that you can't truly customize for every single client. So I'm going to say download the Royal Caribbean app. And, I have hi client, I'm going to input their name. Hopefully I have this link saved, I can put this in here. If you sell a lot of cruises, you can actually set up these lists specifically around the cruise type. So I could have a cruise list, Royal Caribbean, cruise list, celebrity, princess, whatever that may be. So then you don't even have to do this part if you don't want to. So I'm just going to go in here and make sure you can see this is already passed, so it's not going to send. So what I want to do is I actually want to go and put this into a new date. At this point, I'm just going to do a fixed date. Maybe we want to send this off tomorrow. Little trick that I do to make these not look so automated. When I put in times, I put in like super weird times. I don't put in 10 o'clock or 10:30. I put in a very random time. So it looks like I just sent it and it's not being automated to them. So I do that. I go through and you can see the difference between an automation. It has a lightning bolt versus a task that I need to manually do in some way, shape, or form. So I'm just going to go through, edit all of these. And so again, you can see this list is really big, but it is almost everything that I need to make sure I accomplish to one, make sure the client has a great experience, and two, make sure that I'm doing all the steps of my service to make sure I'm providing the level of service I need, plus hitting all of the boxes with my agency, again, tracking my commissions, making sure information is reported. I even have reminders, like if you are a part of CLIA or a part of other organizations, there's some bonus commissions out there to be had. So I even have a reminder in this cruise list to go put my bonus commission into CLIA. So I get that extra money. So anything that you're afraid you're going to forget, put it in a task list. Be able to pull that in so that you never forget about it. It's also so easy. You've just worked 9 to 5 and now you're coming home to work more. And being able to come in and go to your task list and be able to say, okay, these are the things, sorry, a lot of these are outdated, but be able to come in and say, these are the things that I need to do tonight. That is so much easier than scrambling and being like, okay, I know I have this trip going next week. I need to do XYZ. This really keeps you on track and helps you not burn as much of that brain energy that you may not have after working a full day and then needing to come in and really put a lot of effort towards your new business that you're trying to build. So I think I have covered everything that I want to cover. Please let me know if there are questions. Bonnie, let me know if there's anything else that you want me to show.
Perfect. And so I want to emphasize one thing because there is a little confusion with credit card authorizations, the invoices right now, on whether or not that processes the payment or what exactly is going on there. So could you clarify what is happening when someone fills out the authorization or the invoice?
Yes. So right now in the system, kind of clarify more, we have a credit card authorization form. We didn't look at that today. We looked at invoices, which How I like to phrase that is it is an enhanced credit card authorization. Neither take payment from your client. They are taking the credit card details, storing that for you, and your client is also saying, I approve you to charge X amount. That is what these credit card authorizations are doing. Now, to confuse you slightly more, we do have the ability for you to charge service fees and service fees only, and that is fee invoice. You do have to have a Stripe account to do that, and we just help facilitate it. Stripe charges and does everything. We just allow you to facilitate it and use it from Travefy. So if you are charging fees, you can do that. And again, that is actually charging your client. That money is being charged by Stripe and going into your personal bank account. Now, you, depending on your setup, if you're with the host agency, you may technically not be allowed to do this per your contract. So check your contracts, all of those things, just as a tidbit of information. But we do have that in here as well. But when we talk about a credit card authorization, we are just talking about the ability to collect the data to then take that information to go pay and charge with the supplier. I hope that answers the question.
Yes. I think that really helps just lay it out because you'll hear these terms everywhere and they can mean different things depending on, who you're hearing it from. So, just to reiterate, the authorizations, the invoices are authorizing payment from your client and it's not processing anything. That is completely within your control. And it just helps again protect you against those chargebacks if they were to happen, if we're thinking about worst case scenario because you're following all of the legal steps. Now, I have a bigger question that kind of rolls into what we just talked about, but I think that you can give some really great expertise and POV on this. But someone was asking and bringing it up in the chat, why set up an invoice in Travefy if my suppliers are giving me the invoices? Like, what's the biggest benefit that you're seeing from having this all done within Travefy?
Yeah, so you totally can use your supplier confirmations. Now, where that gets really overwhelming is when you start to book multiple components, because there are going to be times, even if it's like, so an all-inclusive, that may be one that the booking confirmation is enough because you've booked a full package that is everything for that trip. But even when we talk about cruises, you're going to have the cruise itself, you're going to have a pre-night, you're going to have flights, you're going to have insurance. Most likely you're not going to be booking all of that with the cruise line. So that's potentially four separate suppliers, four invoices. And I will say there are certain suppliers that their invoices aren't pretty. It's not something you want to present to your client. Not every single invoice can have your logo and your information on it. So it really varies by supplier. But this is a really great way using invoices to give your client a snapshot of everything that you are booking for them. They don't have to keep track of five invoices. And I will tell you, there's going to become a time where you are busy and you are going to forget that you have something booked for a client. It's going to be something random, like a pre-night hotel stay that you put on hold somewhere and you haven't paid. And you're going to forget about it. So the invoice actually helps you stay organized as well, knowing if it's paid, if it hasn't been paid. Creating safety nets is so important. So making sure you have your tasks set. Really important things like payments. I have a task set, but I also have information in my calendar. So I'm getting technically, like, I think I have it set up where I have like 3 notifications when client payments are due because I am so nervous to miss a final payment because it can be devastating to your wallet if you miss that final payment and that trip gets canceled, whether it's a cruise or a hotel, because most likely if it's canceling at final payment, that trip has increased significantly. And honestly, the right thing to do is to help cover that cost if it's your fault. Which, side note, please get insurance. Please get errors and omissions insurance, personal for your business, but that will help anything devastating for you. But just side note there. But yeah, so that's why the invoices are important. You want to provide as much transparency from what you're doing and what you need from your client to your client. Using invoices, adding information into the itinerary, all of those are key ways that you can say, I have provided you this information, but you should never say, oh, well, I gave you your invoice. I can't help that you didn't approve it on time, even though I never reminded you. I never like mentioned it again. You need to be proactive. And so, again, having these things in place really help you provide that superior service and make your clients feel like you're providing a lot of value to them. So, hopefully, that was a very long-winded answer with a lot of side notes, but that's
No,
why.
I think it is helpful to hear that perspective because you're going to hear different things. And really, just to get at what you just said, it comes down to your branding. A lot of the times, it comes down to ease of use for both you and your traveler. And also, I love bringing this point up too. No matter if you're using invoices, if you're also using proposals, itineraries, forms, your clients are going to begin really recognizing your work. So if you continue to send them every proposal through Travefy, they're like, oh my gosh, that is, and I'm just taking the random name I see, that's Amanda. That is
Mhm.
Amanda's itinerary that I'm always used to seeing, that I always love sharing out my friends and family. The invoice page is really easy compared to, friend A who shows me all the different kinds that she has to fill out. You are providing a really luxury experience, even if you might be doing, all inclusives. It doesn't matter what your niche is, you're still a luxury service. And so never
Exactly.
forget that everyone's going to be a little bit different on how they like to set these things up. But Morgan, that was really, really great. Deborah also just said, you are telling the truth with the not so pretty supplier invoices. So
I'm not here
I
to
love that we can
sugarcoat
relate.
things. You need to know, as a new agent, you need to know what is coming and what to expect.
Absolutely. I have a few other ones that I'm going to look through. Okay, so Leia had asked this earlier in the chat. Where can you create these template emails, or where can you create those task lists that you put together
Yeah.
and shared out?
So, one, I am going to share this particular cruise one with you guys. So you don't have to create it. You can take it, you can, of course, modify it, change it to whatever you need. Again, I'm going to shout out Marketplace because Marketplace is actually an amazing place to get base information or get exactly what you need. So you can come in here and you can just type in task list. And sorry, my Oklahoma accent does not let me say task list very easily. Um, but you can come in here and you can see all of these different lists that other agents have created and shared out. Some of them are going to be better than others, but what's really nice is you can actually preview what is in here and decide, okay, yeah, this is almost everything I need. I'm going to copy it to my library. Once it's in your library, you can edit it, put your logo on it, like I showed you earlier, using images um, and all of that. And then she asked about task lists and what else?
Template emails. How did you
Template
set
emails.
those up?
Yeah, so there's a couple ways. Probably my favorite way when you are first starting, if you're starting from scratch, if you're not going to start from a list that has those, you can see like this one, it has some automation. So like this form's going out. With our new email automation, which I don't even think that we've like made a big rollout about, but it is one of my favorite new tools.
This is a
Hearing
secret
it,
between me and all of you guys, all 230 of you
yeah,
in this call.
I am spilling the beans because I cannot be more ecstatic about this functionality. And it's in your account. We're not like hiding it. We just haven't fully announced it yet. So sorry, I'm gonna have to ask for forgiveness. Um, but what I really like to do is when I'm building out something, I actually like to do that for the first time. If I'm going to build it totally from scratch, I like to do it right here in the trip because you can just come in, you can add in individual things, automation. Here's where you can find the email. So you can do that right here. You do have to have your email connected. So that is one thing. You do have to have your email connected and integrated in order to use this feature. So you can just build that out right here. And then once you build this out for a particular trip, you can actually go and say save current list to library. So this is one way to save a full list. Again, you can go into your library and you can create a new task list. And again, you kind of do it the same way. You can add automation, add list. I like how it looks over in trips better if I'm going to build it from scratch. I will even just build a fake trip and start building it from there. That's just my personal preference, but you can build it right here too. If it's something you pulled in from Marketplace, you are going to most likely be editing it from here, but you can also pull it into a trip, edit it, change it, add to it, and then resave it into. So you have those two options, but doing it from here is what I would suggest if you want to create specifically messaging. So messages like that you had that I showed you when you're sending an email. Again, new library item, message. So this is really good to kind of start putting together those emails that, hey, here's your credit card authorization, please complete, or any of those types of messages you're sending out. You can do that. Or, hey, I've created your proposal. Please use the link below. You can do that right here in the library. So it's there all for you.
Amazing. No, this is really great. And again, Morgan just has like a wealth of knowledge, both from your travel advisor experience and how that works in Travefy. So if you get the chance to talk to Morgan, I know that she goes to some conferences. You should absolutely go ahead, talk to her, get all of the information and wisdom that you can. But I think we have time for just at least one more question before we jump into just last minute housekeeping wrap up things. But one question was, can you create a task or automation that isn't related to a trip at all? So for example, if you want to automatically send the client a birthday greeting every year, can you do that?
Yes, you can do that. So you can actually program tasks and automations right in the contact. So I kind of breezed over this earlier when we were looking at it, but in every single contact, there are tasks, and you can go in here and add these right here. So you can go ahead and set up that email. I can go ahead and email message, and we can send Mary a happy birthday email. Type that out, and then we can schedule that to go out on her birthday. And whatever we want to send it out, first thing in the morning. Done.
Again, with
And
the odd times.
odd times. I don't know if it matters, but it makes me feel like it's not so scheduled. So
Perfect. No, and this is great. I know this is a lot of information, again, to try and jam pack within an hour. And so
so
if you
much.
do have questions, like tutorial questions, like, okay, I saw the task list, I have it. How can I use it? How can I set up my own? Reach out to our team, live chat us. We are all there ready for your questions. You can also email us. We can set up trainings, but we have a lot of different avenues that you can go down. Heck, we even have different pre-recorded webinars that you can always join as well. So we are here to help. This is our support center. I recommend the Getting Started guide. We're going to be uploading a lot more videos, actually done by the one and only Murphy, who has been busy
Yeah.
back there with Stephanie, just typing up answers to your questions. But we have a lot of resources. Reach out to us. We're happy to walk you through everything. We will get you an answer. And I'm going to share my screen, Morgan, so I might be kicking you off. But last couple of things, resources. I always like to throw this tab up there so you can actually see a bit of who our team is. But if you are interested in Travefy, if you want to actually see what this looks like, if you were to put it together yourself, go ahead, start your free trial. Our sales team will reach out to you. They're going to want to make sure if you have any questions, those get answered as well. If you have a workflow that you want to see how that would work within Travefy, we will be able to help you get an answer to that. So just reach out to us. I swear we're all friendly. I think pretty much every sales rep is based in Nebraska. I'm looking through.
Yeah.
Yes, we're all in Nebraska. So we do work off of Central Time, but we're here to help. We are not scary, but simple pricing, all of those features Morgan showed and more that we didn't, all included in that $39 a month billed annually subscription. And so take a look. Again, your free trial is for 10 days. We can always extend it. Let us know if you're with a host agency, a consortia, an organization. We have so many preferred partnerships because we really want to make sure that you are getting the assistance that you need, including that new travel agent program. which I know so many of you in the beginning were saying, yes, I'm a new advisor. I'm younger than 12 months in this industry. Again, take a look at that new travel agent program. You can find it on our website. I'm sure that the link has also been thrown in as well, but you can fill out the form. It's really easy. We'll follow up with you. We'll take it from there. But that gets you all of those features, plus that custom domain, plus that custom email, and some different onboarding sessions. But all right, that is all we had. Again, we jam pack these sessions
I
like
was like, all we
crazy.
had, we could
That's
probably still talk for another 2 hours on just what
yeah.
we've already covered, giving more insight and details. But yes,
Yes. No, this was excellent. Thank you, Morgan, for your time. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. I hope to see you again in about 2 hours from now to go through proposals and itineraries. But as always, Morgan, we've learned a lot. I now know to put in weird times on my task and automation, so I will be using that.
yeah.
And yeah, if you missed any of the links, our support team will have those available. We'll also be continuing to share more out throughout the session. So we will see you all later and have a great rest of your morning. Until then,
Bye, everyone.
bye.